Hello everyone, welcome to the Alrasta channel. Here I will share spoilers for a record of Immortal's Journey to Immortality episode 186. Remember, this is based on the novel, so it won't be 100% similar to the Donghua version. Okay, without further ado, let's dive right into the story. Before getting into the spoilers for episode 186, I want to review the meeting between Han Li and Marquise Nanlong, as I feel the Donghua version left out some details. So, when Han Li walked into the basement, he found two figures sitting there waiting for him. The first was Marquis Nanlong, who looked super pale and had lost a lot of vitality. The person next to him was the elder from the Heaven Peak sect he had met before, named Jade Pearl. This unexpected meeting caught Han Li off guard, because he really didn't expect Marquis Nanlong to survive being hunted by his enemies. Marquis Nanlong shared his struggle to escape his pursuers after they parted ways. He managed to survive thanks to the chaos that broke out when his hunters clashed with a group of spell warriors from the Mulan plains. He also explained why they had to contact Han Li in secret to avoid enemy surveillance, and introduced Jade Pearl as a trusted partner who was originally supposed to join their previous treasure hunt. The conversation then shifted to the main reason why Marquis Nanlong was in such a rush to find Han Li. The Marquis revealed that the Ghost Spirit sect was currently on a ruthless hunt, doing whatever it takes to get their hands on Master Chang Kun's map and the secret method to enter a dangerous place called Devilfall Valley. Coincidentally, one of the key items needed to enter that area was now in Han Li's hands after the previous scramble for the Jade Box. It turned out that this crucial key was a black ring kept by Han Li. Han Li realized that the item was a part of the legendary Heaven-Earth ring created by Wise Huang. Jade Pearl explained that the ring was divided into yin and yang types, and the yin-type ring Han Li possessed had a special ability to protect its user from the deadly threat of the Great North Essence Light inside Devilfall Valley. By combining Marquis Nanlong's secret map with the protective power of Han Li's Heaven-Earth ring, they had a huge chance of safely crossing that dangerous area to secure the ancient treasure left by Master Chang Kun. After hearing this explanation, Han Li started weighing the risks and the potential rewards of this dangerous collaboration offer. Marquise Nanlong invited Han Li and Master Jade Pearl to team up and breach Devilfall Valley to seize the ancient treasure inside. Hearing that the black ring was the legendary Heaven-Earth ring, Han Li remembered that he also had its matching pair, which he got from Donghua's senior martial sister. Even though he found the coincidence ironic, Han Li remained hesitant and questioned the massive risks and their chances of survival in the deadliest place in the entire Heavenly South region. Marquis Nanlong didn't deny the extreme dangers of Devilfall Valley, which was filled with shifting spatial tiers and remnants of ancient restrictions. However, he assured him that thanks to the guide notes from Master Chang Kun, they had a safe entry route to the outer area where the ancient treasure was located. Master Jade Pearl chimed in, tempting Han Li with the existence of ancient pills capable of breaking through the nascent soul realm, and even secrets of the deity transformation realm, while also offering the option to just buy the ring if Han Li was unwilling to risk his life. Seeing how pushy they were, Han Li suspected that the two had a specific reason for so desperately needing him there. Cornered by Han Li's guess, Marquis Nanlong finally admitted that their route was blocked by a rare ancient beast called the Ancient Flame Toad. The beast nested near the remains of an ancient cultivator, and they needed Han Li's clear ice flames, which were proven effective at freezing opponents, to hold off the monster's devastating demon flames while they grabbed the treasure. Han Li then questioned why they didn't just bring more members from the Heaven Peak sect to help. Marquis Nanlong explained that the protection from the Heaven-Earth ring could only cover a maximum of 3 people from the threat of the Great North Essence Light. Plus, the trauma from the previous betrayal at the Ghost Spirit sect made it hard for Marquis Nanlong to trust others easily, so he felt much safer working with Han Li. When pressed for a decision, Han Li asked when this exploration plan would actually happen. Marquis Nanlong revealed that the dormant period for the spatial tiers in Devilfall Valley would only occur in about 4 years. Hearing that, Han Li decided not to rush his decision. He promised to give a definite answer 1 year before the dormant period started, and also agreed to lend them the ring if he ultimately decided not to go. Han Li purposely stalled for time because his situation was very different from those two nascent soul veterans. Marquis Nanlong and Master Jade Pearl were already at the end of their lifespans, so they were willing to risk it all, whereas Han Li still had a long future ahead of him. Before parting ways, Master Jade Pearl gave Han Li a special token for emergency communication. Han Li accepted the token and stepped out, leaving the Jade Union Pavilion store. As he walked back to his residence, Han Li figured that the heavily injured Marquis Nanlong would soon relocate to recover. Han Li chose to put the Devilfall Valley business on the back burner since it was still a long way off. Right now, his main focus was on the impending invasion threat from the spell warriors of the Mulan Plains, which was right on his doorstep and impossible to avoid. Upon returning to his place, Han Li found Mu Peiling keeping Luluo and Child Fire Dragon company. They had been waiting for him for quite a while. After asking Mu Peiling to go upstairs and rest, Han Li joined his two seniors to discuss the outcome of the alliance meeting regarding the Mulan invasion threat. Luluo explained that news of the invasion had spread fast, and the majority of cultivators in Soaring Heaven City were willing to pitch in and help the Nine Nations Union hold off the enemy vanguard in exchange for a decent amount of spirit stones. The conversation got more serious when Child Fire Dragon voiced his concerns about hidden political tactics. Cultivator groups from both the Righteous Dao and the Devil Dao suspected that the Nine Nations Union intended to use the momentum of this war to weaken the other alliances. To prevent this, the Heavenly Dao Alliance and other factions agreed to propose strict rules during the official meeting the next day. They demanded that the elders of the Nine Nations Union also dive straight into the front lines alongside the other cultivators. Han Li agreed with this preventive measure to avoid being stabbed in the back. After agreeing on the meeting strategy, Child Fire Dragon and Luluo got ready to leave. Before actually taking off, Luluo curiously asked about the result of Han Li's meeting with his old acquaintance, Ancestor Linghu. Han Li responded calmly, assuring him that nothing suspicious happened. Feeling relieved, Luluo immediately said his goodbyes alongside Child Fire Dragon to continue their alliance duties in the building next door. On the second day of the conference, the number of nascent soul realm cultivators in attendance nearly doubled because a bunch of vagrant cultivators joined in. This massive turnout surprised the organizers, Lady Qi of the Flowing Mind sect and Kun Peng of the Enlightened Leaf sect. They were eventually forced to agree to the conditions set by the attendees, especially the rule that any high-risk missions must be distributed fairly and evenly among the four major powers, making sure no single faction got an unfair advantage. Besides the agreement on dividing tasks, the Heavenly Dao Alliance faction also decided to send extra reinforcements, specifically Nascent Soul Realm Elders and Core Formation Realm Cultivators, to Soaring Heaven City. For the sake of fairness, those cultivators who had fought early on and gathered major merits on the battlefield would be allowed to return to their respective sects once the main reinforcement troops arrived on the scene. Based on the frontline task distribution, Han Li was appointed to lead a team alongside two other Nascent Soul Realm cultivators to guard a strategic outpost at the border of the state of Yu. This spot was one of the crucial points among a dozen key locations heavily targeted by the Mulan invasion forces. Given that the Nine Nations Union lacked the manpower for an open war, they heavily relied on grand formations and defenses at these strategic locations to slow down the enemy's rapid advance. To act quickly, Han Li and his two new partners, the friendly Old Man Ma from the Grand Pavilion and the quiet Gu Shuangpu from the Controlling Spirit sect, chose to fly ahead, leaving behind their juniors in the Core Formation realm. During their journey to the defense point, Old Man Ma kept cracking jokes to break the ice. Meanwhile, the two seniors didn't really think much of Han Li's combat strength yet, seeing him as just a cultivator who had newly broken through to the Nascent Soul realm. Almost half a month passed, and the atmosphere in the Yellow Dragon Mountains, located in the Li Prefecture of the state of Yu, grew extremely tense. A large, bald cultivator named Senior Lu looked anxious inside a jade hall before finally receiving an emergency message. The message brought the bad news that the Heavenwind Storm Formation Fortress had been destroyed by a massive army of spell warriors, leaving Hunchback Bu severely injured. Wasting no time, Senior Lu immediately rang the warning bell to activate the Grand Formation, a thick green mist that enveloped the entire mountain range. 4 Core Formation Realm cultivators, consisting of the 2 Murong brothers, a Taoist named Chong Shuzi, and a woman named Lady Li, quickly gathered to hear the urgent news. Just as anxiety set in over having to face the enemy assault alone, another sound transmission talisman suddenly flew in bearing good news. The long-awaited backup had finally arrived outside the formation, with 3 Nascent Soul Realm cultivators ready to help with their defense. Outside the layer of green mist, Han Li, along with Old Man Ma and Gu Shuangpu, were busy observing the mysterious fog that gave off immense pressure. Not long after, an entrance opened up and the 4 Core Formation Realm cultivators appeared, respectfully welcoming the arrival of their 3 seniors. Han Li voluntarily took the lead in the conversation to introduce himself and his two partners, explaining that 8 other supporting core formation realm cultivators were still on their way. During the introductions, Chong Shuzi introduced himself as being from the Clear Void sect faction, the Murong brothers from Yellow Maple Valley, and Lady Li from the Saber Transformation Dock. Hearing the name Yellow Maple Valley, Han Li thought of Senior Marshal Sister Ni and greeted the Murong brothers. The two brothers were surprised and a bit confused because Han Li's face looked vaguely familiar to them, even though they hadn't yet managed to recognize his true identity as a formerly ordinary cultivator from their own sect. Without letting the brothers dwell on their doubts, Han Li asked to be brought into the defense center immediately before the enemy forces arrived. The group then flew through the rolling sea of green mist until they reached a main hall. There, they were personally welcomed by Senior Lu, who had been waiting for his rescuers with a look of sheer relief on his face. Senior Lu, who already knew Old Man Ma and Gu Shuangpu, warmly greeted them right away and then asked about Han Li's identity. When he learned that Han Li had just recently broken through to the nascent soul realm within the last few years, a brief look of disappointment flashed across Senior Lu's face, assuming his power level wasn't very high yet. Nevertheless, Senior Lu quickly covered it up and continued to express his gratitude for Han Li's help. Han Li, with his sharp observation skills, caught the fleeting change in Senior Lu's attitude, but he chose to stay calm and just smiled without showing the slightest bit of annoyance. Their attention then quickly shifted back to their main focus, the defense. Senior Lu started laying out the details of the critical situation they were facing and the massive threat of the rapidly approaching Mulan army. Senior Lu explained the emergency regarding the remaining cornered troops fleeing from Sky Terrace Valley under the leadership of fellow Taoist Bu. Old Man Ma volunteered to go pick them up, seeing it as a chance to test out a brand new treasure he had just acquired. Accompanied by the Murong brothers, who had mastered the Lightning Bind spell technique, Old Man Ma immediately set off for the location, while Han Li and Gu Shuangpu were guided to their respective resting quarters. Li Yingning led Han Li to a secluded and quiet building usually off-limits to low-level disciples for meditation. During this brief moment, Li Yingning gathered her courage to ask about Senior Marshal Sister Ni Yin. That question made Han Li study Li Yingning's face more closely, and he noticed a faint resemblance and a familiar vibe that stirred up a sense of sympathy for her. Li Yingning explained that she had a close relationship with that person and revealed her mother's identity, Mo Yu Zhu from the state of Yue. When she showed a passing spirit jade pendant that she had always carried since childhood, Han Li immediately held the item and was struck by memories of his past. He realized for sure that the woman standing in front of him was the daughter of his old friend. Li Yingning then shared her heartbreaking life story, explaining how she was forced to wander with her mother until they reached the Nine Nations Union territory after her grandfather and father were killed. From her story, Han Li gathered that her family had become victims of internal clashes within the Devil Dao faction, mainly due to the actions of the Ghost Spirit sect, which had successfully taken over the state of Yu. Seeing that Li Yingning didn't know the full details of those past conflicts, Han Li chose not to drag out the conversation and just asked her to call him Marshal Senior Han. Li Yingning felt incredibly happy and grateful as she now had a new protector from the nascent soul realm who shared a close historical bond with her family. As a gesture of care from a senior to the descendant of an old friend, Han Li gave her 2 bottles of medicine pills that were super useful for breaking through the bottleneck in the core formation realm. He didn't stop there. Han Li also considered the immense danger of the looming battle against the spell warriors, judging that Li Yingning's magic treasure weapon was still inadequate for her to survive a fierce fight. Han Li then took out his swarm of gold-devouring beetles and condensed a portion of the bugs into a glowing sphere to act as a life-saving weapon in critical situations. After Li Yingning accepted the precious gift with deep gratitude and promised to let him know if the enemy forces approached, Han Li asked her to leave so he could meditate. Inside his meditation room, Han Li focused on cultivating the purple apex flames, a deadly demonic flame technique he created by combining the celestial ice flames with the glacial chi of the 6-winged frost centipede. Even though the amount of this flame was still very limited due to a lack of refined base materials, its power was proven to be extraordinary, capable of threatening even a late nascent soul realm cultivator. Han Li realized the massive potential of his new power, while Silvermoon, within his consciousness, also praised the significant upgrade to his purple apex flames abilities. Han Li's biggest hope was actually to fully unlock the Heaven Void Cauldron so he could dominate the Heavenly South region unrivaled. However, his daydreaming was cut short when a sound transmission from Li Yingning suddenly came through, asking him to return to the main hall immediately. Senior Ma had returned with the survivors from Sky Terrace Valley, and the bad news warned that the Mulan army was getting closer to the Yellow Dragon Mountains. Upon arriving at the main hall, Han Li found the situation to be much direr than he expected when he was introduced to Bu Yunhe, the leader of Sky Terrace Valley, who looked pale and was covered in injuries. Bu Yunhe, who had managed to escape thanks to Old Man Ma's help, recounted how his fortress was destroyed. The destruction was caused by a combo attack from high-grade spell warriors and giant, heavily armored monsters carrying bizarre restrictions designed to shatter protective formations. The anxiety grew when Bu Yunhe revealed the presence of a weird figure with a terrifying aura accompanying 2 sage-level spell warriors within the enemy ranks. Hearing about this threat that was still hiding its true strength, Senior Lu decided they should focus on defending the Grand Formation to buy time. Various preparations and the reorganization of the surviving troops were quickly carried out to beef up the defenses at the Yellow Dragon Mountains. The thundering sound of war drums beating in the distance signaled that the Mulan army was right at their doorstep. Senior Lu quickly asked Han Li, Old Man Ma, and Gu Shuangpu for help to test the enemy's initial strength, accompanied by 2 core formation realm cultivators, who were experienced in dealing with the enemy's dirty tricks. Han Li could only stare coldly toward the south while gearing up for the massive, unavoidable clash. From the south of the Yellow Dragon Mountains, a massive wave of Mulan spell warriors could be seen flying, filling the sky above the sea of green mist. At the very front of the formation were a dozen or so high-grade spell warriors emitting the auras of their treasures and multicolored spiritual lights. They moved in a very tight, organized formation, ready to threaten the joint defense line. Among the top ranks of the enemy forces, 3 figures stood out the most. A man cloaked in crimson flames with a fierce fire snake, a man as tall and skinny as a bamboo pole, and a mysterious figure draped in a black robe emitting demonic chi and phantom wails. The presence of this black-robed figure, flying solo at the very front, not only spread fear and respect among the surrounding Mulan troops but also masked a deep, burning hatred from his own comrades. On the Mulan side, Sir Heavenweep and his peers were discussing an attack, but the black-robed figure chose to hold back, noticing that the cultivator camp was starting to move out of their formation. Not long after, 5 nascent soul realm cultivators and 2 core formation realm cultivators flew through the green mist to intercept the enemy. While scanning the Mulan higher-ups, Han Li's eyes locked onto Sir Heavenweep, who was radiating a demonic chi similar to Bone Sage Xiao Cha, prompting Han Li to instantly crank up his guard. The battlefield atmosphere heated up even more when Great Sage Ku Yao of the Fire Right tribe shot forward in the form of a giant fireball, challenging the cultivators to a one-on-one duel. That open challenge immediately sparked outrage among the cultivator ranks. Wasting no time, Old Man Ma, who was itching to test his new treasure, darted forward as their side's first fighter to go on the offensive, a move that Senior Lu approved. Both fighters chose to take their positions in the neutral zone between the Mulan army and the sea of green mist, so they could fight at their best without any interference. At the same time, Senior Lu asked the cultivators who had faced the enemy before about his abilities. Gu Shuangpu explained that even though Old Man Ma's Grand Righteousness Arts technique was very tough against normal fire attacks, this fight still shouldn't be underestimated given the enemy's incredibly high mastery of fire element arts. The fight kicked off as Old Man Ma activated a silver ruler-shaped weapon that emitted light and sounds resembling a phoenix. But before he could launch his attack, Old Man Ma received a secret sound transmission from Han Li giving him a crucial warning. Thanks to Han Li's quick tip, Old Man Ma realized that the fire snake wrapping around his opponent's body wasn't just a regular spirit beast like everyone thought. A smirking Ku Yao immediately revealed the true form of his technique, turning the fire snake into a blazing red fire flood dragon with terrifying horns and claws. This transformed fire spirit form shocked Senior Lu and Gu Shuangpu because it proved that Ku Yao's fire element arts had reached a ridiculously high level. Old Man Ma also realized that he had to give it his all and use all his abilities without holding back in the slightest. To match the fire monster, Old Man Ma quickly whipped out a precious ancient treasure, a yellow scroll radiating rainbow light. The scroll slowly unrolled in the air, displaying an 8-trigram diagram that sent out massive ripples of spiritual energy. The appearance of this treasure instantly caught the attention of all the cultivators and spell warriors watching the fight from afar. Sensing a dangerous threat from the scroll's energy ripples, Ku Yao didn't just stand there. He chose to strike first before his enemy's move was fully prepared. At his command, the giant fire flood dragon spewed a sea of incredibly hot scarlet flames that instantly swallowed Old Man Ma and his 8 trigram scroll. The fierce frontline battle had officially broken out, with massive plumes of fire scorching the surrounding air. So what happens to Han Li next? Let's wait and see in the next video, guys. Alright, thanks for watching until the very end, and don't forget to keep supporting this channel by leaving a comment, dropping a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, bye.
真的要陪九国盟与木兰人拼命。
愿带吕师兄前往黄龙山。吴副盟主，在下那东县桑园国的关隘，非我一人可左右。此战牵扯深远，还是先想办法找寻更金。还要劳烦你们。牵阴幻化阵。